Right. So this is talking about some particular scenario. It is saying consider the following employee process of a software development company to answer the questions given below. A software development company has 600 employees. The company manually evaluates each employee performance at the end of the year. These performance results are used to decide employees' salary increments for the next year. In this process, each employee is evaluated based on several performance indicators listed in an evaluation form, and marks for these indicators are given by his or her superiors. The evaluation process consumes significant amount of each employee working time. Now, that is one good reason for us to recognize, right? So, in your questions, that fact will be used, right? So it's better we underline that the evaluation process, or we can highlight that the evaluation process. Hold on, people, need to make it bigger. The evaluation process consumes significant amount of each employee working time, right? So that is something to remember. Once the marks are gathered, human resource manager takes around 2 months. Again, that is going to be another problem, right? Human resource manager takes 2 months to compile them, to prepare a report. A committee comprised of 2 executives from the HR department and the expert from the finance department, right? And yeah, a committee comprised of 2 executives from HR department and the expert from the finance department are appointed to decide the salary increment of each employee. So they are using two types of expertise, right? So the executive from HR department and the expert from finance department, right? And it says salary increments of this committee makes their decision based on HR manager's report and the special report given by the finance expert. Now, right? So it says the committee makes their decision based on HR manager's report and the special report given by the finance expert. The finance expert uses his experience of the past evaluation process in addition to the organizational guidelines to prepare his special report. Yeah, now that will be important too, right? Finance expert uses his experience of the past evaluation process in addition to the organizational guideline to prepare his special report. Right, then it says this finance expert usually takes around 3 months. Now that's going to be a problem again. Right. So finance expert usually take 3 months for his recommendation. This process delays the salary increments of the employees and makes them unhappy. Right. Now that is the real problem. This process delay increments of the employees and make them unhappy. The employees have requested the management to expedite this process and give them the increment in time. So that is the requirement. The company has decided to computerize this year-end employee evaluation process as an online system. So that is their solution for this particular problem. Right, computerized year-end evaluation online system. The proposed system functions as follows. Only during the evaluation period, employees are allowed to log into the online evaluation system. Each employee is required to log into the system and select a subordinate to evaluate. Then the system requests to provide marks in the evaluation form of the selected employee and submit it. then the system requests to provide marks in the evaluation form of the selected employee and to evaluate. Then the system requests to provide marks in the evaluation form of the selected employee, and submit it at the end of the evaluation period. The system automatically compiles data, generate a report, and forward it to the appointed committee, right? So that is the proposed system, right? The manual system is getting delayed. So they asked to expedite this. So then to expedite this, what they have done is they have introduced an online system. Then system happens like this, right? So employee should log in, and this will be important. Each employee is required to log into the system and then select a subordinate to evaluate, right? So then system requests to provide marks in the evaluation form of the selected employee and submit it, right? So at the end of the evaluation period, the system automatically compiles the data, generate a report, and forward it to the appointed committee, right? So that is regarding the proposed systems working, right? It is asking, state 2 key reasons that make the company to introduce online computerized system. Yeah, you can find many different reasons, right? So one reason is like the financial expert is taking time, or like it's like taking 3 months of period to give his particular report, so it will take time. And again, this human resource manager makes around 2 months to compile them, right? So those kind of reasons can be taken, and from the marking, we can go for further things. Hold on. Yeah. Consuming significant amount of each employee's working time delays the salary increment of the employee and make them unhappy. Yeah. So like delays the salary increments can be taken as an answer. Consume significant amount of each employee's working time, right? Do they have something to say like taking significant amount of working time? Yeah, with the very first one, the purple color one, it says the evaluation process consumes significant amount of each employee's working time. So that can be taken as a direct answer, right? Then the delay, right? So it is talking about that why the report is being delayed in 2 aspects, right? One is employee has to spend his time on that, as well as the expertise has to spend on time to evaluate, like to process in the particular reports. Yeah, Oneli, let me see your answers. Yes, hold on. State 2 key reasons that make company to introduce online computerized system. Yeah. To speed up the employee evaluation process, to minimize the human errors and the safety of data. Yes. Yes, security side, you can clearly take the marks for the first answer, no problem, right? So like consuming significant amount to speed up the process. To minimize human errors and increase the safety of data. මෙතන දුව key reason එකක් කියන්නේ scenario, okay, they haven't talked about any security issues, no. So due to that, the second point, maybe they will go only for 1 mark, right? Not 2. Make it significantly pennala dila tiyenne the time of the employee and time of the experts, right? So you may collect 2 marks for the first point and 1 mark for the second point, right? Okay, so the B part, it says company thinks that an artificial intelligence based system would reduce the time taken to this process. Do you agree? Justify your answer. Now in the scenario, you may remember there is these 2 experts, human resource manager, and the other one is the expert from finance department. Now clearly it says expert from finance department, right? So like expert systems are to replace or to act as an expert, right? So we can clearly take an expert system to reduce the time taken by the finance expert, right? So they have said it is yes. To reduce the time taken by the finance expert to prepare special report, we can introduce an artificial intelligence based system to replace or assist the finance expert. Now, expert system, you have to remember what is the expert system, why an expert system is here, right? Because it is to replicate the human expert or to assist the human expert. So you have to pop out, like you have to point out those kind of facts in your answer, right? And the question is asking, company thinks that artificial intelligence based system would reduce the time taken to this process. Do you agree? Justify your answer. Yeah, you really don't, it's better you mention what kind of a system that you are going to use, right? And only in your answer, because an artificial intelligence based system is fully autonomous system. Yeah, only now here you have to give the facts from the scenario, right? So you have to say, now what you have said about the artificial intelligence based system is correct, but you have to say how to apply to this particular scenario. That is how the justification should happen, though, right? So in that case, you have to say there is a finance expert in this scenario, so we can easily use an artificial intelligence based system like an expert system or an agent system, which can be assist or which can be helped to the finance expert, right? So now in that case, like 1 mark can be taken for saying yes, though, right? And for the explanation, yeah, they have given 4 marks for the explanation. So for yours, I think only 1 or maximum 2 may give, right? So ekai කියලා දාගන්න අපි නරකම පැත්ත ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් settle කරගමු, right? So always remember, people, it is not common only for this question. If something asks to be justified by giving a scenario, remember to justify it using the facts that is given by that particular scenario, right? ඒකයි ඒගොල්ලෝ scenario එකක් දෙන්නේ, right? Only got the point? Right. Then in the third question, it is asking, do you consider the service provided by the company through this system to its employee as B2E? Justify your answer. Yeah. Now this is regarding the providing a service. That means the salary increment or like the evaluation process, which is done by the company to its employees, right? So providing such a service from a company to its employees can be considered as B2E. So there is a company on one side, so it is a business. There are employees on the other side, so they are employees, and this evaluation process is going to be done through the online system, right? So that means electronically, the service is provided by electronically. So all three factors are satisfied. So that can be taken as a B2E, right? So in the marking scheme, it says it is yes. So you have to recognize the things. Now in here, they have said the employee have requested the management to expedite this process and give them the increment in time that actually do not need. So the company has created to request by introducing the online evaluation process. Again, not a part of the question answer. So this is the justification happens. Therefore, it is a service given by the company to its employees in an online method. Now that fact should be there. මේ bold color facts ටික prove කරන්න තමයි උඩ lines ටික ලියලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක ඕගලන්ට කැමැති විදිහකට ලියන්න පුළුවන්, convince කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන. Right? Now only in your answer, because it's a service transaction that occurs from business to employee. Yes. So that can be taken as an answer, but it's better you see, like, it's better you convince how the service happens, though, right? So business is providing the evaluation process. It is the service to the employee. So company is providing the evaluation process, which is the service to its employees. So then your clarification can be taken, right? So it is a service that is occurs from business to employee. So it can be taken as B2E. Right? නිතරම scenario එකට relate කරලා කතා කරන්න. Right? So for your answer though, yeah, saying yes, I'll give you 1 mark. Now the bolded point is getting 2 marks. So for that reason, I'll give you all marks to this, right? So 3 marks can be taken, right? But it's better you convince properly, right? Okay, the 4th one. Company decide to invite an outside expert to the committee, state 1 negative impact of this decision, right? So taking a third party into the company means you are like opening your database or opening your data store to a third party. So that means there is a high risk of having the data or like taking the data by a third party without the knowledge of the company, right? So definitely the privacy issues can be there, right? So like it says, damage the employee privacy or abusing company's strategic information by a competitor or any other negative impact, right? So you can argue in different aspects, right? So in your answer, though, you have said privacy of the company. Data will not be secured. Private and sensitive data of the company will go into the hands of an external parties. How was the question asked? Negative impact. Yeah. Privacy of the company data. Yeah. Yes. මේක කියනකොට දුව අර අපි possibility එක පැත්තෙන් කතා කරන්න, right? නැත්නම් අපි කෙලින්ම will go කියන කතාව කිව්වොත් certainly සිද්ධ වෙන දෙයක් ගැනනේ අපි කතා කරන්නේ. එහෙම නෙමෙයි probability පැත්තට දාලා කතා කරන්න. answer කර මම ලකුණු දෙන්න පුළුවන්, but it's better, right? So like it is possible to have the data to a third party, right? There's a possibility, right? So that is what the marking scheme is also saying: damage the employee privacy or abusing company strategic information by a competitor or any other negative impact. Yeah, so you can take the marks for the third part. So the 4th part, 3 marks is given. Right, so sum up and see how much you got out of 15. Right. Okay, so that's the nature of the 4th. The මෙහෙම question එකක් දැන් ඔය 214 වල essay වලට දුන්නාට දැන් මේවා එන්නේ ඔයගලන්ගේ structured type එකට, right? So it's better you understand about these things. දැන් මේ වගේ උත්තර දිහා බලනකොට ඔයගලන්ට තේරෙයි there is nothing much to write, right? So then ටික ටික ඔය model එක it is penetrated by the structured, right? So structured is absorbing the things from the essay part of the all papers. So it's better you walk through those, right? That is why I'm asking you to try all the questions because like the essay questions where you can experience in these years can be taken as a model for the structured question in your papers, right? So go through each and every question. Altogether, it will help to the MCQ. And again, it will increase the way that you are going to think. All right, fourth question. Who has done the fourth question? Any questions regarding this? Oh, well done, Oneli. It's good. Who has done the fourth? Okay, the fourth one, it says, explain what is done by the Python interpreter when executing the following statement. You should state the type of the variable involved, right? So like there are three statements, right? You should say what is happening, like what is done by the Python interpreter, right? So this is how they have explained that. In the first one, it says print the string, enter a number because it is an input statement on the screen, and wait till user input. Assign the user input to the variable X. Type of the X is a string, right? So it consists all the things that you need to say, right? It's just one particular statement. So they have said enter number phrase or the string will be displayed. Once the user is given the input, that will be assigned to the variable X, right? And it is assigned as a string variable. Why it is assigned as a string variable? Because input statement itself is returning what? A string, right? That is the nature of the input statement, right? Input statement enter karanne return karanne string ekak. That is why we are converting that thing into the integers when we need to take the values out of it, right? And look at the way they have given the marks, like explaining the scenario for all three steps. It is 1 mark, right? And for saying the type, they have given a separate mark. So 2 marks are given for that particular part. And in the second one, it says open a file name myfile.txt. So they have using a file opening function, right, to read data, right? So you have to say it is to read data because the file name is here, access modifier is here, right? And it is using the open statement, right? So open is here, right? So, and again it says, assign the file to the variable in file, or reference to the object is also okay. The in file variable type is file. It's a file type of variable, right? Okay, so 2 marks for that part as well, right? And in the third one, it is saying split the string a comma b comma c. It should be shown as it is in the answer. A, B, C කියන කෙනා එක තනි string එකක් කියලා පෙන්නන්න ඕනේ by the character comma and assign the output to a variable A. And the type is an array. An array කියනට වැඩිය type is a list කියන එක තමයි හොඳ. මොකද we know like from the split method, what is going to return is a list of it, right? So A will be assigned by what? The final value for A is going to be something like this. A comma B comma C. That is what A is going to assign finally when this is being executed, right? So I think you can remember the split method. If we are not mentioning any particular character inside these brackets, you are going to split your string from the spaces by default. And if we define anything inside it as a string, so then they are going to split the string from the given character, right? So for that, 2 marks is given. Again, 1 for the explanation and 1 for saying about the type, right? Okay. Any questions regarding that? Okay, so moving forward. Yeah, what they are asking is, in the next question, factorial of a positive integer n is defined as n into n minus 1 plus n minus 2 plus into 3 plus 3 into 2 into 1, right? So propose an algorithm by using a flow chart to print the factorial of a given positive integer n, right? So if we simplify this process, it is this kind of a thing. Like if we input 5, your output will be like 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, the answer of that. And 5 into 4 is 20, 20 into 3 is 60, 60 into 2 is 120. So 120 will be the answer, right? So if you give 4, so it's going to be 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, right? 4 into 3 is 12, 12 into 2 is 24, right? So once you input this is what you want to take as an output, right? So according to your input, the starting value determines, then it reduces one after the other. And again, you have to multiply it again and again, right? So like you can see this value 5 is going to reduce 1 by 1 in each of these positions. So like we know how to reduce a value of a variable 1 by 1, right? And when it happens, if we decompose what happens to this 5, when the 5 is being input, first it will multiply 5 into 4, right? So how 5 into 4 is happened? This 5 will be reduced to 4, then that 4 will be taken over here, right? So that means if I think about the steps, if you give 5, your output for that moment is 5, right? Then you reduce it by, this is the first step. In the second step, you will reduce it by 1, that means 4. Then you do this 5 into 4, right? Now your output is this. Then the third step, 4 is reduced by a 1. Then you are going to do is like 5 into 4 is there already, right? So let's say this output is 5, this output is 20. You are going to do 20 into 3. That means 60, right? So in the fourth one, 3 will be reduced to 2. Then 60 into 2 will be taken, 120. Then at the fifth one, 2 will be reduced to 1. Then 120 will be multiplied by 1. So again, the answer is 120. Right? So what is happening here? Right? These processes are going to happen again and again, right? And these values are the values that you generate from here, right? And if you think about these values are the previous values of the answers, right? So as an algorithm, what they are doing is they will take a particular answer and then it will be multiplied by the number which is being reduced by 1. Right? මුලින්ම පහ answer එක කියලා ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ answer එක වැඩි කරනවා පහෙන් එකක් අඩු කරනවා. right? ඒ කියන්නේ පහෙන් එකක් අඩු කරගත්තයින් පස්සේ answer එකෙන් අපි අරගත්ත total answer එක වැඩි කරනවා. So then we take that answer, then we reduce another one by 4, we multiply it. So you can take this particular thing as a counter which reduce 1 by 1, this particular thing as your output as some particular value, right? Since it is factorial, let's take it as f. So the current f will be multiplied by the reduced c. දැනට තියෙන f ගේ value එක එකක් අඩු කරපු c ගෙන් වැඩි වෙනවා නිතරම. Right? So this is the algorithm behind this, right? So look at the marking scheme. So it says it start, get a value for n. So in our case, we have taken 5 to this particular value. So then they have assigned the n to the fact, right? So the factorial is going to be 5 because n is 5, right? Because n is the one which is given in the previous scenario, right? So which is given by this, right? Which means 5, right? Then what they have asked is they have checked this whether n is larger than 1, right? N is larger than 1. If it is true, right? So for the moment n is 5, n is larger than 1. So if it is true, reduce n by 1. So that is the argument that we were discussing on here. I'm sorry, this narration is going to be a problem, right? අපි එකින් එක අඩු කරලා පටන් අරගත්තේ එයාව තපර කියනවා මේකේ මෙයාව පොඩ්ඩක් මේ පැත්තට දාන්න නැත්නම් ඔයගලන්ට ඒක පැහැදිලි නැති වෙනවා, right? Right? So this is what they are talking about in here. Right? Then the current factorial, the current answer will be multiplied by this value. Reduce කරලා එන value එකෙන් වැඩි කරගන්න ඕනේ. Right? So it is going to be repeat again and again until it is larger than 1. So once it is equals to 1, it is gone on this path, it will print the factorial and it will end it. Got it, people? Any questions regarding that? Okay, great. Great. Then they are asking for you to like clarify this in Python, right? So as the second question, yeah, write a Python function, right? That is something important, Python function to implement your flowchart. So in other words, they are asking you to write our algorithm inside a function, simple as that, right? So let's go by the marking scheme. It says, yeah, for this drawing, it is given 5 marks. This is how the 5 marks are being decomposed. For the start and end, 1 mark. Correct decision making symbol, 1 mark. Correct output, 1 mark. For the correct logic, 2 marks. Right? Okay, so this is how you have written it inside a function. So since it is said to be written inside a function, this is a must. Right? මෙතන තියෙන්නේ වෙන කිසිම දෙයක් නෙවෙයි මේ අපි කතා කරපු algorithm එක අර flow chart එකේ තිබ්බ algorithm එක. So the only difference is it is written inside a function and that function is being called. That's all. Right? So I'm sorry, this is not calling, my bad. This is also inside the function. Right? This whole bunch is inside the function. Calling statement is not here. Right? So what they have said is take a number. That is how the user input is taken and it is converted into an integer. So n is going to get a number, an integer, so that n is equals to the fact according to the flow chart. Then they have used a while loop, right? Because the flow chart is iterating on the years part. So you can take that condition as it is, right? ඔයා ඒක අනිත් පැත්තට ලිව්වනම් while එකකට එනකොට complete opposite පැත්තට යන්න ඕනේ, right? Then inside the while this particular colon is a must. That is how we write the while, and then indentation happens. N equal n plus is written, then fact equals fact into n is written, right? Then print factorial, or like the print fact, that means this particular value which is moderated by these particular things should be aligned with while, right? That means it should be outside the while loop, right? Then you will see the specific value will be printed, right? So they say correct function definition 1 mark, that is for this. Correct repetition 1 mark, that is for this. Correct output 1 mark, that is for this. Correct implementation of the flow chart 1 mark, that's for the whole thing, right? That is how we are going to take 4 marks for that. Okay, so have your marks, right? And if you got any questions regarding this, it's time for you to ask. Okay. All right. Can we move to the next question then? The 5th one. Who has done the ER diagram? It's kind of an easy one, right? Okay. So the
sir, excuse me.
Oh, the
Sir, function එකකින් අර flow chart එක Python වලට පොඩ්ඩක් ගන්න මරි මම සර් එකේ පිච් එකක් දැම්මා. අනේ සර් චුට්ටක් කියලා දෙන්නකෝ.
Yes, hold on. Is it equal to y equal to, all right, okay. Ask number for x, okay. Y equals y plus 1. Y equal y plus 1 කියලා තියෙන්නේ නේද? දීලක.
ඔව් sir.
Oh, right, okay. Y equals y plus 1. Z equals z into y. Right, okay. Oh, හරි. ඔතන ඔයා z වලට ඉනිෂියල් වැලියු එකක් දෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ දීලක. z equal to කියලා කියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මොකද ඔයාගේ z equal z into y කියන process එකේ ඉනිෂියල් වැලියු එකක් දෙන්න වෙනවා. මොකද ඔයා z නැවත පාවිච්චි කරනවානේ. ඔව් එතන අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ දෙවරක් 3 කියලා නේද? ඔව් දෙවරක් 3. Right, okay. Y is increased by 1. Yes. Yeah, that is correct. So you are going to display Z. Yes. Yes. I think Dilaka ඔව් ඔයා එක කියන්නේ ඔයා ලියලා තියෙන එක එක වැරද්දක් කරලා තියෙනවා print z කියන එක while එකේ කොටසක් විදිහට ලියලා තියෙනවා ඒක වැරදි මොකද ඔයාගේ iteration එකේ පුතේ print එකක් display එකක් නැහැනේ display එක තියෙන්නේ iteration එකෙන් එළියට ආවමනේ right ඔයා මේ මෙතන තියෙන මේ print කියන ඒ print statement එක එන්න ඕනේ මේ උත්තරේ පෙන්නන විදිහට ඔයාගේ විදිහට ගියොත් හැම iteration එකකදීම z print වෙන්න ගන්නවා ඒක ක්ලියර්ද දීලක මේ විදිහට නැතුව මෙයා මේක ඇතුලේ හිටියොත් හැම වතාවකටම සැරයක් ඒක print වෙන්න ගන්නවා අපිට ඕනේ ෆයිනල් ආන්සර් එකනේ දීලක දීලක කියන එක මට ඇහෙන්නේ නැහැ මම හිතන්නේ දීලක කමියුනිකේෂන් එරර් එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ දීලක chat එකේ හරි yes no එක දාන්නකො දීලක නැද්ද දීලක මට chat එකේ එවනවද reply එක ඕකේද නැද්ද කියලා මට chat එකෙත් පේන්නේ නැහැ ඔයා ඒවල තියෙනවා
සර් මට චුට්ටක් ආයි කියන්න පුළුවන්ද මට ඇහුන්නේ නැහැ කලින් කිව්ව ටික
හරි හරි දීලක ඔයාගේ අවුල තියෙන්නේ ඔයා ලියපු ආන්සර් එකේ ඔයා print එක දාලා තියෙනවා මේ මෙතන මම ওই රතු කොටුවක් ඇඳලා තියෙන්නේ
සර් එතන දැම්මොත් අවුලක් වෙන්නේ නැද්ද සර්
ඔයා එතන දැම්මොත් වෙන්නේ මොකක්ද දන්නවද දීලක ඔයාට මේ 5 20 60 120 කියන එක ඒ විදිහටම print වෙන්න ගන්නවා අපිට ඕනේ ෆයිනල් ආන්සර් එක විතරනේ අපිට ඕනේ මෙයා විතරයිනේ ඔයා print එක දැන් ඔයාගේ flow chart එකට අදාළවත් ඔයාගේ flow chart එකේ print එකක් නැහැනේ iterate වෙන ටිකේ තියෙන්නේ y = y + 1 z = z * y එතකොට ඔයාගේ while එක ඇතුලේ එන්න ඕනේ ඒ statement දෙකම විතරයි display z කියන එක තියෙන්නේ iteration එකෙන් එළියට ආවමනේ flow chart එකේ ඒක clearද I mean right දැන් මේ මෙතන ඔයාගේ condition box එකේ තියෙන්නේ steps දෙකයිනේ right ඔයාගේ තියෙන්නේ මෙයා සිද්ධ වෙනවා iteration එකේ මෙයා සිද්ධ වෙනවා මේ ටික තමයි iterate වෙන්නේ right ඒක නිසා දීලක මේ දෙන්න තමයි මෙතනට එන්න ඕනේ මේ display set කියන එක තියෙන්නේ iteration එකෙන් එළියේ එතකොට මෙයාව back indent වෙන්න ඕනේ මේ while එක කෙලින් යන විදිහට
සර් හරි
clear ද දීලක
ඔව් සර්
මොකද නැත්තම් වෙන්නේ හැම තිස්සෙම z print වෙනවා හැම තිස්සෙම z print වුණොත් අපි අර flow chart එකේ මම අඳිනකොට values ටික වෙන වෙනම පෙන්වන්නේ ආගියු කරනකොට values ටික වෙන වෙනම පෙන්වනවා වගේ ඔයාගේ values ටික එක පේලියට මෙහෙම print වෙන්න ගන්නවා කොහොම මොන හරි values ටිකක් එක පේලියට print වෙන්න ගන්නවා අපිට එහෙම එකක් ඕනේ නැහැ අපිට ඕනේ final answer එක 5 දුන්නොත් final answer එක 120යි කියලා එන්න ඕනේ නැතුව අපිට ඕනේ නැහැනේ 5 එහෙම කියලා එන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ right එතකොට එක වැරද්දක් එතන. එතන මෙයා back indent වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේක function එකක් ඇතුළට දානවා කියලා කියන්නේ දීලක හරිම ලේසියි. එනවා function definition එක ලියන එක විතරයි කරන්න තියෙන්නේ මේ def කියන keyword එක පාවිච්චි කරලා function එකට මොකක් හරි නමක් දීලා right නිකන් ඔන්න ඔහම ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකක් ඇතුළට දාන්න එච්චරයි මොකද ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකක් ඇතුළේ තියෙනවා කියලා ඇල්ගොරිතම් එකට විශේෂ වෙනසක් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ right සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ අර ෆන්ක්ෂන් ඩෙෆිනිෂන් කියන ලයින් එක ඇතුළට අපේ ඇල්ගොරිතම් එක වැටෙන එක විතරයි
ඒකට ඒකට ආයි කෝල් කරා
අර කෝල් කරන්න එක්සිකියුට් වෙන්න හරි විදිහට නම් කෝල් කරන්න ඕනේ මාකින් ස්කීම් එකේ ඒගොල්ලෝ කෝලින් ස්ටේට්මන්ට් එක ගැන කන්සිඩර් කරලා නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක fully fill ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් වෙන්න නම් ඔයා මෙහෙම එළියෙන් fact කියලා කෝල් කරන්න ඕනේ. fact කියලා ওই විදිහට කෝල් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඕක තමයි total program එක වෙන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ කන්සිඩර් කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේ කොටස විතරයි. right මේ ස්ටේට්මන්ට් එක දුන්නම තමයි එතනින් මෙතනට ගිහිල්ලා මේ ටික එක්සිකියුට් වෙන්න පටන් ගන්න. ඒක ඔයා දාලා තිබ්බත් ඔයාලට ලකුණු දෙනවා නැතුවත් ඔයාලට ලකුණු දෙනවා no problem.
හරි සර්.
තේරුණා?
හරි සර්. thank you. ඔව් සර්. thank you.
right okay. right okay. හරි. I'm sorry. We need to share it. Right. So moving to the fifth one. So in the fifth one, it is ask you to draw a ER diagram, an ER diagram. So it is about this university and its courses, right? So it says the EST university has 3 faculties, right? The line එක කියවන කොටම you can recognize 2 entities. One is EST university and the other one is faculty, right? I'm going to highlight those from yellow color. So EST university is an entity, faculty is an entity, right? So education, science, information technology. So those are the names. So that means faculty is going to have an attribute called name, right? Each faculty can offer 1 or more degree programs. So that explains the relationships, right? So I'm going to highlight it from greens. Each faculty is offering 1 or more degree programs. The faculty of each education, faculty of education and faculty of science offer Bachelor of Education and Bachelor of Science degree programs respectively. Now here, faculty is a, excuse me, here faculty is a entity and degree program is going to be another entity, right? So each faculty, the faculty of education and the faculty of science offer Bachelor of Education and Bachelor of Science degree programs respectively. So that means one faculty can offer, is offering 2 degree programs here. ඒක ඇතුලේ Nokia කියනවා one faculty can issue more than 1 degree program කියනවා. Right? So however, the faculty of Information Technology offers 2 degree programs, Bachelor of Science in Information Technology and Bachelor of Science in Software Engineering, right? Yes, so it says 1 degree program can be awarded by many faculties and 1 faculty can award many degree programs, right? කොහොමද අපි ඒක figure out කරගන්නේ? Here it says the faculty of Education and faculty of Science, right? So 2 faculties offer Bachelor of Education and Bachelor of Science degree programs, right? Respectively, right? And here it says, however, the faculty of Information Technology offers 2 degree programs, right? So 1 faculty is awarding more than 1 degree program, right? And it has no clue here saying 1 degree program is given by many different faculties. Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Science. So those are separate degree programs. එතකොට එතනින් කියවෙන්නේ නැහැ එක degree program එකක් faculties ගොඩකින් දෙනවා කියලා. හැබැයි එක faculty එකකට it can issue more than 1 degree program, right? So the important highlight should be happen regarding the Faculty of Information, right? When Faculty of Information Technology offers 2 degree programs, right? And then it says at the time of registration, students should pay the full degree program fee. So student is going to be another entity. Student should pay full degree program fee, which may differ from 1 degree program to another. So fee is going to become an attribute, right? So fee is going to become an attribute. අපිට මේ කලින් කතා කරපු education, science and information technology කියන නම් තුනත් we can take those things as an attribute, not as it is. For these things, we can take the attribute called name of the faculty, right? Fee is going to be an attribute itself, right? So, yeah. And again, for these things, the Faculty of Education and Faculty of Science offers Bachelor of Education and Bachelor of Science degrees. So again, these are going to indicate that there are names for the degree programs, right? So these are going to be name of degree programs. Again, those are going to be attributes, right? So this is the name of the faculty. It's the attribute of the faculty entity. This is the name of the degree program. It's going to be an attribute of a degree programs, right? And should pay full degree fee, which may differ from 1 degree program to another. So this is going to be another entity of the degree programs, right? Okay, then it says a student can enroll in only 1 degree program at a time. So that explains a relationship in between student and the degree programs, right? So it says a student can enroll 1 degree program at a time, right? And it says a degree program has 2 types of course units, compulsory and optional. A course unit can be available in more than 1 degree program, right? So course unit is going to be another entity, right? Course unit. And again, it's going to explain the relationship in between the degree program and the course unit. A degree program has 2 types of course unit, right? And it says compulsory and optional. So that indicates the type, right? So compulsory and optional කියලා කියන්නේ type කියන attribute එකේ values, right? So this is going to be the type. Right? A course unit can be available. A course unit can be available in more than 1 degree program. Again, a relationship line to understand about course unit and the degree programs. Then it says EST University has many lecturers. So again, here we are finding another entity. Right, so a lecturer is going to be an entity. So the relationship or the lecturer and university relationship is indicating this. EST University has many lecturers. And again, it says lectures can be assigned to 1 or more course units. So the relationship in between lectures and course units. Right, a course unit can be assigned to one or more lectures. Number of hours allocated for course unit is distributed among assigned lectures. Yeah, when more than one lecture is assigned to the course. So again, a course unit can be assigned to one or more lecturers, right? And number of hours allocated for a course unit is distributed among the assigned lectures when more than one lecture is assigned by assigned to a course unit. So that will be needed when we are talking about the relationship. And again here, this particular thing, the number of hours is going to be an attribute. I'm sorry, an attribute. It's not going to be the yellow color. It's going to be an attribute. Number of hours. It's going to be an attribute, right? Then at the very last line, it is talking about the primary keys, right? So those are going to be key attributes. It says each faculty degree program, course unit, lecturer and student are uniquely identified by faculty ID, degree ID, course ID, lecture ID, and student ID, right? So this is what should happen when you are reading the ER diagram question, right? Now, in nowadays, the ER diagram question is not a one full question in your papers. It is always related with the schema drawing, sometimes normalization kind of things. I will do it after the classes. Right? So with this, look at how the ER diagram has happened. Yes, Susu. He is dead, Susu. Yes, so how did you go? Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay. Now look at this. Now here they have given all the things that we have discussed about. See, EST has lecturers. So the relationship in between lecturer and the university. And EST has faculties. Right? And faculty offers degree programs. Right? And degree program has course units. Right? And students are registered with degree programs. Right? And lecturers are assigned to course units. Right? So all those relationships are there. Right? So then again, regarding the attributes, each and every entity should contain this key attribute. Apart from that, they were mentioning about program fees, that is for degree program, and number of hours per course unit is belongs to the course unit, and assigned hours. Assigned hours is going to be a descriptive one. It is because this number of hours, if the course unit has 30 hours, these 30 hours are assigned to a one lecturer or can be assigned to more lecturers. So like assigned hours, it can be 3 10-hour slots. The high quotas tuna lecturers are tun denekuta assign karanna puluwan. So assigned hours is going to be a descriptive one, because that is those assigned hours describes which lecturer is assigned with how much amount of hours to a which particular course. The assign hour එකක් ගැන කතා කරනකොට assign hours 10යි කියනකොට it needs to describe which lecturer is assigned to those 10 hours and from which course unit, right? So we can't put assign hours into the course unit or to the lecturers separately. Due to that reason, we have to have assign hours as a descriptive one. Okay, people, is that clear? Right. So please mark the things, right? Just see what are the things which are correct and which are wrong, right? And I'll show you how the marks are given. Just have the correction mark and do the correction, people. I'll show you the marking scheme then. How the marks are given. Hold on a second, people. Yeah, according to the marking scheme, it says each entity with its primary key, 1 mark. So you are going to have 1 for EST and they say 5 marks only. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there are 6 entities. But I think they are considering without the EST. Fair naha. However, like if you got all 6 things, take 5 marks only, right? එකකට එක ගාන නෙවෙයි ළමයි එතකොට එන්නේ. Entities 6ම තියෙනවා නම් you can take 5 marks. And each relationship with correct cardinality. Right? So that means each relationship with the correct cardinality. 1 mark, 1 mark here, 1 mark over here, 1 mark over here, and 1 mark over here, and 1 mark over here. So 6 marks for that, right? So always remember the relationship name and the cardinality must match. ESD side should have 1, faculty side should have many. In between ESD and lecturer, ESD side should have 1, lecture side should have many. And lecture to course unit, many to many. M අකුර කැමැති පැත්තක තියෙන්න පුළුවන්, N එක කැමැති පැත්තක තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. It should be M and N. Not M and M, right? M අකුරයි N අකුරයි. වෙනස් අකුරු දෙකක් තියෙනවා. Right? So please mark it accordingly. Then each attribute except primary keys. So they have given 4 marks. So that means program fee, assign hours, What else? Number of hours and the type. Yeah, I couldn't mention this type. Degree program has course units, right? So those type can be compulsory or what we call, hold on, let me take it from the answer.
Sir, පොඩි අවුලක් තියෙනවා.
Oh, the
සර් ෆැකල්ටි එකයි ඩිග්‍රී ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක අතර තියෙන කාඩිනැලිටි එක one to many වෙන්නේ ඇයි සර් many to many වෙන්නේ නැතුව?
ඒක දීලක අපරකින් මම මේක ක්ලියර් කරලා කියන්න. මෙතන දීලක ක්වෙස්චන් එකේ මේගොල්ලෝ මේ කියනවා නේද මෙන්න මෙහෙම දෙයක්. The Faculty of Education and Faculty of Science offers Bachelor of Education and Bachelor of Science degree programs. එතකොට Faculty of Education එකෙන් එක degree program එකයි, Faculty of Science එකෙන් තව degree program එකයි. ඒ faculty එකෙන් දෙන්නේ එක degree program එකක් විතරයි. හරි? ඊට පස්සේ Faculty of Information Technology offers 2 degree programs. එතකොට ඒකෙන් ස්පෙસિෆයි වෙනවා IT faculty එකට degree programs දෙකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඔය මම අන්ඩර්ලයින් කරපු පේලි දෙකෙන්ම ක්ලියර් කරන්නේ එක faculty එකකට degree programs එකක් හෝ කීපයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. right? එතකොට එක පැත්තකට relationship එක හරි. එක faculty එකකට degree programs ගොඩක් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි යෝගේ අනිත් පැත්ත මෙතන කියලා නැහැනේ. එකම degree program එක faculties ගොඩකින් දෙනවා කියලා. මොකද degree programs තියෙන්නේ Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Science, අනිත් එක Bachelor of Science in IT, Bachelor of Science in Software. right? ඒතර මේ හතර දෙනා degree programs හතරක්. ඔතන කොතනකවත් සඳහන්ලා නැහැ එක degree program එකක් faculties කීපයකින් දෙනවා කියලා. right? එතකොට අපේ relationship එක වෙන්නේ දීලක faculty එකකට many degree programs තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේක degree කියලා ගත්තොත් one faculty
නෑ සර් මම අර ඒ ගැටලුව ආවේ සර්. faculty කිව්වම සර් උතන අර education එකයි science එකයි IT එකයි සේරමනේ සර්.
ඔව්.
එතකොට සර් ඒ සේරමෙන්ම degree program එකකට වඩා offer කරනවා. ඒ වගේම අනිත් පැත්තටත්
එක degree program එකක් faculty ගොඩකින් issue කරනවද?
නෑ සර් මෙතන මේ faculty ගොඩක් කියලා මම කිව්වේ සර් අර තුනම එකට අල්ලන්නේ සර් faculty කියන
එතන අන්න එතන වරදගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ දීලක අපි බලන්නේ එක degree program එකක් දැන් මේ question එකෙන්ම degree program එක නමක් ගන්නකො. අපි හිතමුකෝ Bachelor of Education කියන එක. Bachelor of Education කියන degree program එක faculties එකකින්ද දෙන්නේ ගොඩකින් දෙනවද?
එකකින් සර්.
එකකින් දෙන්නේ. අන්න එතනයි දීලක අපි අල්ල ගන්න ඕනේ. දැන් ඔයා මට තේරෙනවා ඔයා ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා ඔයා කියන්නේ faculties ගොඩක් තියෙන නිසා faculties ගොඩෙන් degree programs කීපයක් එනවා. ඒක නිසා ඒ පැත්ත ගොඩක් කියලා නේ ඔය හිතන්න ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. අන්න ඒ point එක තමයි වරද්දගෙන තියෙන්නේ. මේ instance එක දාලා හිතන්න එක specific degree program එකක් faculties එකකින්ද දෙන්නේ ගොඩකින්ද? ඒතකොට මෙයා specific. clear දීලක?
ඔව් සර්.
හරි? right. අපි type කියන එක කෙනා ගැන කතා කර හිටියේ degree program and the course unit. Type they have taken it as a descriptive one. I was just searching කොතනද point එක අරගන්න තිබ්බ කියලා. Compulsory and optional. A student can enroll in only one degree program at a time. A degree program has two types of course unit. Compulsory and optional. A course unit can be available in one degree program. A student can enroll in only one degree program at a time. A degree program has two types of course units. Two types of course units. Yeah. So, yeah, this can be taken as a descriptive one, the type. It is because it is describing both the degree programs and the course unit. It is saying a degree program has two types of course units. Right? It's got a compulsory, as they say, and mandatory, right? What they say, yeah, compulsory and optional, sorry, compulsory and optional. So if you take a degree program, it has course units. Those course units can be compulsory or can be, I'm forgetting the word, what we call optional, yeah. So if it is then ඒක හරියට අර විෂයන් තෝරගන්නවා වගේ course unit එක ඇතුලේ විෂයක් තියෙනවා ඒක degree program එකට අදාළව තමයි course unit එකේ තියෙන විෂය තෝරගන්න ඕනේ මේ විෂය compulsory වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් නැත්නම් optional වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් right so the type to describe the type we have to talk about both the entities right අපි කිව්වොත් compulsory type එකක් කියලා then I have to say which course and in which degree program right අපිට course එකෙන් විතරක් කියන්න බෑ මොකද courses තියෙන්නේ degree program එක ඇතුලේ right the bachelor of IT අරගත්තොත් ඒකේ courses තියෙන්න පුළුවන් database management systems then after logic gates ඒ වගේ එක එක courses තියෙන්න පුළුවන් so some of the courses are compulsory some of the courses are optional. So if you take, okay, logic gates course is compulsory. So the compulsory type ng logic gate course එක මොකක්ද? Course unit එක තියෙන්නේ මොන degree program එකේද? So you have to refer both the entities. Right? So the type comes as a descriptive one on that particular thing. Right? So it is regarding the degree program as well as regarding the course unit. Right අපිට type එක ගැන කතා කරනකොට තනියෙන් කතා කරන්න බෑ got it okay so they have given 4 separate marks for the additional what we call the attributes right so those attributes are degree program assign hours type and number of hours right so that is how the 15 marks are being defined right so see how many out of 15 you got right this is how they were going with it each entity with its primary key the primary key තියෙන entities ටික විතරයි ඒගොල්ලෝ සලකලා තියෙන එකයි 5 marks දීලා තියෙන්නේ EST එකට primary key එකක් නැහැ and the relationships 6 marks and each attribute except the primary keys 4 marks right okay is it clear any more questions regarding that paper okay going to the 6th one yeah this is kind of an easy one but a risky one don't expect that you are going to have these kind of questions in your paper now it has been much more advanced than this so it is saying a university in Sri Lanka has around 8,000 students it has only one library currently 3 library assistants right? So it says 3 library assistants provide all library services, such as lending, returns, and answering the questions, right? It is observed that 90% of the students use library facility from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., 12 noon to 1 p.m., and 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So there are 3 time slots where the library is being referred by 90% of students. Long queues of students can be seen in front of 3 counters, right? So long queues are there. Manned by the 3 library assistants during those hours. This situation has led students unrest since they have to waste their time in long queues. So students unrest since they have to waste their time in long queues, as well as when it comes to the library assistants, are also not happy due to the heavy workload, and sometimes this has led them to make mistakes. So heavy workloads and mistakes. Those are the key points that they are talking about this system. Identify and state 3 functional requirements associated with the above university library system. Now, this is a manual one, right? So functional requirement means what is expected by the system. What are the things that user expected by the system? So when it comes to the library system, users are the students, right? So they will expect what? These kind of functional requirements, right? So a student shall be able to borrow a book, right? Or else it can be said as a function of the system. The library assistant shall be able to lend a book, right? Or else you have to say shall be able to facilitate lending a book, right? So I recommend first 2 type of answers. ඔය තුනම ලියලා තිබ්බොත් ඒ තුනම එක requirement එකක් විදිහටයි ගන්න. කියන්නේ තුනක් නෙවෙයි, right? Either student shall be able to borrow a one, or library assistant shall be able to lend a one, or just generally shall be able to facilitate lending a book. Much better if you go with the first or second type of answers, right? So that is one particular requirement. The other particular requirement, a student shall be able to return a borrowed book. That is another thing that the user is expecting to do, right? And the third one is the library assistants shall be able to answer the student queries, right? So these 3 type of things, these are the 3 requirements that we can expect from this particular manual system. So 2 marks will be given for each line. So requirement 1 එකෙන් එකකුයි, 2 එකෙන් එකකුයි, 3 එකයි, right? Those should be there. So it will provide you 6 marks for this. And look at what they have said over here. Missing actor. Missing actor, deduct 1 mark each, right? So please be careful when you are stating those things. එකයි මම කිව්වේ මේ උඩ දෙක වඩා හොඳයි කියලා, උඩ answers දෙක, right? Okay. So the second part says,
sir, IEEE standard කියන්නේ අර shall should ඒව දාන එක නේද?
shall should දාන එක. Yes, shall should දාන එක. Right? In the second question, it says, identify and state 2 non-functional requirements related to the above system with justification. Non-functional requirements. Now, when it comes to this system, the non-functional requirements should be efficiency and accuracy. Why? The transaction in between the student and the system should happen in a quicker manner, right? Which is not happening here and should happen in the correct way. And again, it is being highlighted in this system. There are mistakes happening because of the long queues and all these things. So non-functional requirement is efficiency and accuracy, right? But those are not being satisfied here, right? So you have to justify those two facts, right? Right, so it says efficiency, it is one non-functional requirement. නිතරම non-functional requirement ගැන කතා කරනකොට remember those facts: efficiency, accuracy, productivity, right? Those kind of things. Effectiveness, security, right? Over තමයි non-functional පැති වලින් කතා කරන්න තියෙන facts, right? ඕනම system එකක් ගත්තොත්, right? So here you have to say efficiency is one fact, and reason you have to argue what's happened in the system due to heavy workload or for any other reason, the scenario which negatively affect on this efficiency. So you have to say due to heavy workload, efficiency is less in this system, right? And again, accuracy, again, due to long queues and the heavy workload on the librarians, it is tend to make mistakes. So accuracy is less in this system. දැන් මේ වගේ ඒවා ඔයගලන්ට easily can be given for the structures. මේ අවුරුද්දේ මේ ලකුණු 4ක් ලකුණු 5ක් දෙන්න තරම් ලොකු වුණාට දැන් මේ level එකේ නෑ paper එක. දැන් ඊට වඩා paper එක advance. Right? So that is why I am telling you, learn from these things. Right? Okay. Then the last part. They are asking you to propose something. Say that propose two different computerized solutions and one computer-based solutions, right? One non-computer-based solutions, I'm sorry, to solve the problem in the university library system. Now here are the proposals that they have given. For computerized solutions, use of barcode readers, RFIDs, ebooks, online services, online FAQs, since they need to answer the questions from the students, those kind of ones. Non-computer based solutions, clearly there are two things: increase the number of counters and library assistants, right? Even though you can write those things in two different manners. හැබැයි එක එකම දේ වෙන්නේ increase the counters කිව්වොත් count එක නිකන් තිබිලා වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැනේ. There should be a library assistant. So increase in counter and library assistant should go together, right? And then yeah, any other acceptable solution without using any electronic device, right? So අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් කියන්නේ time slots divide කරලා දෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා ළමයින්ට. කියන්නේ මේ time slot තුනේ මෙන්නේ නැතුව මෙන්න මේ තව additional time slots introduce කරලා දෙනවා. එතකොට queues ප්‍රමාණය reduce කරගන්න පුළුවන්, right? So you can assign a different timetable for faculties, right? Science faculty එකට මේ time slot එකේ, art faculty එකට මේ time slot එකේ, right? Then it will reduce the long queues, right? So those kind of proposal. If you got anything, any writing which is alternative to these answers, just let me know. I will see it and show it to you. And the marks that they have given is for the computerized solutions 2 marks, for the non-computerized solutions 3 marks, right? Should it be the other way around? ඔය එක ලකුණු දීලා තියෙන විදිහ ටිකක් අසාධාරණයි නේද ළමයි? කම්පියුටරයිස් සොලියුෂන් දෙකක් අහලා ඒකට ලකුණු 2යි non computer based එකට කෙලින්ම ලකුණු 3ක් දීලා තියෙනවා. Anyhow, that is how it happens. Okay, have it like how much you got like out of 15 and see how's your total mark out of 60 and see the final mark. How was it? Right? මටත් කියන්න 60න් කීයද කියලා ළමයි. ඕගලන්ගේ progress එක නේද? මමත් දකින්න ඕනේ. මටත් සතුටුයි ඒක දකිනකොට නේද? Okay, Anili. Keep it up, right? 45 is a good mark, but it's better you pressure to go for 50 to 55 kind of things, right? Good. And send me the total as well. And meanwhile, I'm showing you the 2015 first paper. I hope everyone is done. Komidu Hondai, Oneli, that's good. Keep it up. Now, Bindi, yeah. You have to increase the level a little bit, right? Now, Bindi Kela inne Anudida. Right, okay. Right. Right, Dilaka, how low it is? Januda, how about you? Sasit? This is the total mark, isn't it? Okay. Now, learn the mistakes, Sasit. Right? You have to go very much further, right? But it is good that you have passed the limits, right? හැමෝම පාස් කියන ලිමිට් එකේ ඉන්නේ. එතකොට එතනින් ඉස්සරහට යන්න මොනවාද අඩු කියන එක. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ තමයි අඳුනගෙන ක්වෙස්චන් කරන්න ඕනේ. මම හිතනවා අපිට මේ ඉස්කෝලේ පටන් ගන්නවත් එක්ක ආයි ෆිසිකල් ක්ලාසස් පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා අපි බලමු කොහොමද රටේ තත්ත්වෙත් එක්ක මොන වගේ දෙයක්ද සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ කියන එක. Right, it's better we meet, right? But until then we have to go like this. Januda, how about you? Right. First two questions, Januda, marking scheme එක pass paper book එකක් තියෙනව නේද? recording එක බලලා පොඩ්ඩක් මට final answer එක කියන්න. Right, okay. All right, let's move to the 2015 one. I hope everyone is done. 2015 කරපු නැති කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවද? Okay, so seems everyone has done. Right, you know the drill. Mark it quickly and send me the incorrect answers. Oh. කොහොමද MCQ ටික? Oh, it's here. Right, only. Thank you. I'll mark it. Others, please mark it as soon as possible and tell me what are the incorrect answers. Okay, 15. 15, 17, 19, 20. Okay, Dilaka, send me the incorrect question numbers. 26, 32, 41, 46, and 48. Lamai, in the 23rd question, it's the fifth answer for you. First answer is there only for the Tamil medium paper, not for you guys. So for 23rd, it's only fifth, right? In other cases, you can take both the answers. In 13 and 18, it has two answers. Right, Ranudi? 17, 19, 20, okay, 23, 26, 33, 41, 46, and 47, okay? Dilaka, 9, 12, 13, 19, 20, 26, 31, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 43, 46, 47, 48, and 49. Okay. All right. How about others? Januda, Saset, and Kovindu. Kovindu, 7, 11, 13, 14, 19, 20, 22, 26, and 31. Okay. Januda, 13, 36, okay, 49. All right. Saset. Meanwhile, I'll 44 and 47. Okay. Hariko, itu bang tanam. Saset, if you can send me the answers, we can start. Okay, Sasit, send me the answers. Meanwhile, I'll start the discussion. Right. So, seventh. Okay. It's a simple calculation, people. Right. Now here, all your answers are coming out of hexadecimal. So there are, the easiest way is converting the binary value into the hexadecimal and adding those things together. Or else, if you are not comfortable with it, convert the hexadecimal and the binary into the decimals and do the addition, then again convert it to the hexadecimal, right? So the best way of doing is like I'm taking, I'm sorry. Sasit, it's 24, 20, 15, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 43. Okay, great. All right. So yes, the 7th. So best way of doing this is like you have to convert the binary value into the hexadecimal one. So we have to like divide it by 4 into 4 groups, right? So we know the place values 1, 2, 4, and 8. Same goes here 1, 2, 4, and 8. So this is going to give you 8 plus 2, 2 plus 1, 11. 11 means B, right? And here it is only 2, right? So this is 2B in hexadecimal. So now you have to add 48B into 2B in hexadecimals. So B means 11. So 11 plus 11, it is 22. So for 22, there are one group of 16s. Then you are left with only 6, right? So then 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. 11 means B. So this 4 comes as it is because it doesn't have anything to get added, right? So this is going to be your answer. So the first one is going to be the answer, right? Now, when it comes to these kind of questions, people, it's better you find the shortest path to do this, right? To do that, you need the practice. So if you don't have the idea about adding the things up, just let me know. I will rehearse that, right? So is it clear, everyone? Right. And again, for the in the website, there are recordings regarding this. So if you are not clear with it, it is another good way to find out how the addition is going to happen, right? So if you go for the 2023 sessions, 2023 English medium sessions, somewhere around, let me check. Yes. Yes. On this recording, I guess, A-level 2023, yeah, 8th of 5th, 2021, right? And let me share the screen with you. Yeah, this shows you, yeah. Yeah, this is where the addition starts, right? So 8th of 5th month, right? May 8th recording එක බලන්න. There I have discussed the addition, right? So you can have a clear idea, and still you are not getting it, just let me know. A-level 2023 English medium sessions were there, right? So just go through that, people, right? Okay, so after the 7th, it's 9th. Which of the following is not a typical use of random access memory of a personal computer? Keeping data for processing. Now, it is true that we take all the data into the RAM and send it to the CPU, but when it comes to the processing specifically, they are talking about the registers, right? Registers, right? So we can take this as a work of registers, right? holding instruction for operations. Again, can be taken as something happens inside the registers, right? But they are asking what is not a typical use of random access memory, right? So we suspect both these things happens in the registers. Let's go and see what are the other things. Providing a storage for operating system, no. This is clearly on the hard disk. Retaining information for output, and when it comes to the outputs, according to the von Neumann architecture, this is the thing of a RAM, keeping the BIOS program for boot up, and this is a thing of a ROM. What was the question? Which of the following is not a typical use of random access memory of a personal computer? Which is not. Oh. Keeping the BIOS program for boot up. Yeah. Yeah. So what we can go for, like as a clear answer, we can go for fifth, right? Because boot up process and all these things, those are in the BIOS. BIOS means a ROM, clearly, read-only memory. Now retaining information for output, that can be taken as a RAM. Providing storage for operating system. For installation, it is the hard, but when it is running, it should be taken into the RAM. So that is because this can be taken both hard and RAM. Install kala tiyenne hard ekේ, run karanakota RAM ekata ganna ඕනේ. And same with these register things, that is the closest one. But when the things are moving to the registers from the RAM, RAM එක related, right? So first three things, RAM is helping to do that. But clearly the fifth one is not a part of RAM. BIOS වල තියෙන ඒවා කවදාවත් RAM එකට එන්නේ නැහැ. Right? When it is booting up, the computer directly checks the read-only memories, not the RAM. Right? So for that reason, for ninth, we can go for the fifth as the answer. Is that clear, people? Right. Okay, so questions can be this tricky, right? So it's better you find for the best one. සමහර අය පළවෙනි එක කියවනකොටම දෙවෙනි එක කියවනකොටම right මේක තමයි කියලා උත්තරයට යන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම වෙන්න එපා, අමාරු වැටෙනවා, right? It is like A level is competitive. So competitive means winner will be the one who is careful and be very cautious one, right? Okay, so the 11th, yeah, in the 11th it says, consider the following combination circuit implemented using universal gates. Now, we have drawn this for several times. මේ තියෙන්නේ එක සැරේ කියන්න පුළුවන් අපිට මේ තියෙන්නේ O gate එකක් කියලා. Right? We have drawn that diagram. Right? Even we can justify or like prove this is an O. Right? So if this is A, if this is B, these places are going to provide you A bar and B bar. And this output is going to provide you A bar dot B bar's total bar. So if you apply the De Morgan's, it's going to be A double bar plus B double bar, which gives you A plus B. So A plus B happens with an OR gate. Right? When A and B is input, if your output is A plus B, that means this indicates an OR gate. Right? So the 12th question, yeah, this is an out of syllabus one. The answer is this for is the pulse code modulation. It is asking analog signal to digital signal conversion. The modem is not here. If the modem is here, you can go for the device modem, right? But not this not with AM, not with FM, not with PM, not the TDM. It is an out of syllabus one, so don't worry about it. It is a pulse code modulation, right? 12, you can take the mark, right? For 13, a computer in a network configured with IP address of this and the subnet mask of this, which of the following IP cannot be assigned to a computer in the same network? So now, to figure this out, you have to figure out what is the range of this particular IP, right, or this particular network, right? So they have provided you an IP address plus the subnet mask. Now, first we are going to use the subnet mask, right? Because using only the subnet mask, you can figure out what kind of, like, what number of bits are there in the net ID and host ID. So when you know the net ID and host ID bits, using this IP address, you can determine what's the range of this particular thing, right? So first we extract the subnet mask. Once you extract the subnet masks, you can see the first octet is going to have 8 bits. Second octet is going to have 8 bits. Third octet is going to have 8 bits. In the fourth octet, there are going to be 1 and 7 zeros. That is how the 128 is performed, right? So that means starting from the first bit until this particular bit, that means 25 bits belongs to the net ID and 7 bits belongs to the host ID, right? So now you take a look at of the IP address given. So the IP address provided to you is like 192.248.16.91, right? Which is a IP address stays in this network, right? In this network means this IP address is also having 25 bits for its net ID and 7 bits for its host ID. So that means, to clarify, now 192 is not going to change because it is net ID part. 248 is not going to change, net ID part. 16 is not going to change, net ID part. To find out the range, we have to figure out what is the bit, or the like what happens to the leftmost bit of this octet. Again, may bit take a net ID. So that the nature of that bit is not going to change. The rest of the things can be changed. So for that reason, you have to extract 91 and see how 91 is like extract in here. So if you extract the 91, you are going to have the this particular combination. So it's going to be what? 64 plus, no, 128, 64 plus 32, it's going to be 96. So 32 is not going to come. So 64 plus 31 is going to give you 95. So 4 is not going to be there. So 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. Yeah, this is going to be the 91, right? So the place values will be 1, 2, 4 is not going to be, 8, 16, 32 is not going to be, and 64. I have written only for the ones, right? Right, so 64 plus 16 means 80, 80 plus 10 is 90, 90 plus 1 is 91, right? So from this 91, what is not going to change? This 0 is not going to change. That means the margin is going to go from here. right? So that means 192 stays as it is, 248 stays as it is, 16 stays as it is, and this 0 stays as it is. It is because that 0 belongs to the net ID. So to find the range, what you should do, the broadcast address is going to be all zeros from here. I'm sorry, the network address is going to be all zeros from here. Broadcast address is going to be all ones from here, right? Which gives you 192, 248, 16.0 as the network address, as the broadcast address 192, 248, 16.127 is going to be the broadcast address, right? So now you can see this particular IP is within this range. So the question is asking, the IP address cannot be assigned to a computer in the same network. So that means that IP address should be something larger than 127. මොකද බිඳුවේ ඉඳලා 127. එතකොට අපි range එක ගත්තොත් 1 to 126 වෙනකන් IP addresses we can assign to the devices. So any IP address beyond this value is going to be something which is not belongs to this network. So first one is going to be the answer, neither 192, 248, 1661. That cannot be inside this, right? 78 can be stay less than 126, 110 can, 120 can, and 75 can. People, is that clear? If you want to write down this over there.
192 නේ දෙන්නේ මෑන්.
148 දීලා තියෙන්නේ. There is a printing mistake over here. 13th වලට දෙකම දීලා නැද්ද පුතේ? Yes, they have given 1 and 4. It is because, yeah, ඒක ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ printing mistake එකට පුතේ යවුල එන්නේ නැත්තේ, right? අපිට එහෙම තිබුණම directly අරගන්න පුළුවන්, right? This is of course an answer. මොකද ඒකේ කෙලින්ම net ID එක change වෙලා තියෙනවා 148 කියලා, right? So you can directly go for that. එතන මම හිතන්නේ printing mistake එකක් සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. For that reason they have given 1 and 4. දැන් ඔයගලට උතනට 248 වුණා නම් clearly first answer එක විතරයි. තේරුණා සසිත්? On Ellie, yes, yes. Right? So if you want to have this calculation, you can have it. If you are okay with it, I can move forward. Is anyone copying this down, people? Otherwise, we can move. Please indicate me if anyone is copying this down. Okay, okay. Copy it down. Let me know when you are done. Right, okay. So moving to the next one, after 15th marks to, oh no, sorry, we are talking about 13th, so then 14th. Some province in Sri Lanka currently issue revenue license for motor vehicle online. Which of the following is the correct business type for this service? This is clearly the G2C, government to consumers, or like government to citizens, right? Because the province, the revenue license is something which is issued by the government, right? So we need to visit to a secretarial office or a provincial council to collect this thing, right? Now that service can be acquired through online, right? So we can take it as a government is providing a service for us as an online service. So it is G2C, right? Government to service. So the parties, the government and the consumers, right? Okay, moving to the 15th. Yeah, consider the following HTML element: input type equal text, name equal first name, max length equals 15, right? What is the effect of the attribute max length on the functionality of the element above? I think we have discussed this on the previous paper as well. We have these four types of, rather three types of things, which is called the max, which is called the min, and the max length, right? So max attribute is saying if you say max equals 1000, you can't type anything larger than 1000 in the input box or like the text box. If you say min equal 1000, you can't type anything less than 1000 in that thing, right? So then the max length is going to give you the maximum length that it can go, right? So the maximum number of characters that you can go for that, right? Just a second, people. The 15th, the answer, whether I need to see whether I'm jeopardizing the things. 15, it is 5. Yeah. So it sets the length of the text box to 15th pixel. No, right? Not the pixels anyway. Pixels will connect around the right? It sets the length of the text box to 15 characters. 15 characters will length set karanna puluwan. As I remember, the length is there. Hold on, let me check. I really don't remember what was the attribute for that thing. HTML. Yeah, size, right? The size attribute specify the size of the text box, right? Or the width of the text box, right? So if you think about the size, if you say 10, this defines a text box which can type 10 characters inside it, but it doesn't limit the number of characters which you can type in here, right? ඕන තරම් characters type කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි text box එක ඇතුළේ වාට එක සැරයකට පේන්නේ characters 10ක් විතරයි. Right? But max length, it does this thing. It allows to type maximum of 15 characters into the text box. Right? It's better you concentrate on these four things, right? මේගොල්ලෝ සැරින් සැරේට අහලා තියෙනවා. min එක අහලා තිබුණ නෑ මට මතක විදියට. Max is there, max length is there, size is there. Right? So be careful with these things, right? So this is given by the size attribute. It displays maximum of 15 characters in the text box. Not displaying, right? It can display any number of characters like 1 or 2 or 3 or like up to 15, right? So like not the displaying part, the typing part is limited by the max length, right? Display karanna puluwan type එක යන එක හැබැයි එතන third answer එක පොඩ්ඩක් controversial නේද? මොකද දැන් අපි 15ක් type කරොත් 15 නේ එතන පෙන්නන්නේ 15ට එහා පැත්තේ පෙන්නන්න බැහැනේ ඇත්තටම. Right? So it says it displays maximum of 15 characters in the text box. ඒක එක පැත්තකින් හරි. මොකද type කරන්න දෙන්නේ 15ක් විතර නම් ඒතර 15ක් තමයි පේන්නේ. නමුත් කාට හරි ආගිව් කරන්න පුළුවන් මෙහෙම. size එක 20 කියලා දීලා max length 15 කියලා දුන්නොත්. The text box is capable of having 20 characters, but if we say max length equals 15, so you are only given the room to type, or like only permitted to type only 15 characters, not beyond than that, right? So most suitable one is going to be the fifth one, right? Not this one. This is not, Scholarling is not supporting for that. So for 15th, fifth answer is going to be your answer. Right, so after 15th, going for the 17th, what is the correct CSS rule to set the background color of a web page to yellow? Yeah, background color, it's easily illustrated by the property called background dash color, not the BG color. BG color means the attribute name of HTML, not the CSS. Right, so for that reason, second one cannot be an answer, fourth one cannot be an answer, first one cannot be an answer. There is nothing called body color, right? And fifth one is wrong. They have used the equal sign, right? So only the third one can be taken as a correct answer. So always remember, I have highlighted you the most concentrative parts in the CSS. So background color, the font families, the size, those kind of things, colors, right? Please go through the note, right? There are some particular CSS properties that you need to remember, right? For a background color, background dash color. For a background image, background dash image, right? For a font color, it is just color, right? For a font size, font dash size. For a font type, font dash family, right? So those kind of things are there, right? So you better like go through the CSS property names, and when you are like writing a CSS property, always the property name colon then the value. Like we are very rarely we are using the double quotes. Why we are using the double quotes? If your value is going to have more than one specific word, right? Then api font type එකක් දෙනකොට නේද sans serif කියලා දෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. නැත්නම් times new roman දෙන්න ඕන නම් times new roman කියන එකනාගේ වචන තුනක් තියෙනවා. එහෙම වුණාම මේ තුන් දෙනාම එක්කෙනෙක් කියලා indicate කරන්න we use double quotes. If we give Arial, we are not using double quotes. It is just the value Arial, right? So we use double quotes only we need to have more than one word in our property. Right, we double quotes පාවිච්චි වෙන තැන් තමයි ඔය font name එකක් දෙනකොට ඊළඟට image එකක් ගන්නකොට අපිට path එක specify කරන්න ඕන නම් like c colon dash something 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 යන්න ඕන නම් so we use double quotes, right? Other than that, CSS is just the property name colon value semicolon, that's all, right? So for the 17th one, third one is the answer. Right, 19 and 20, we'll quickly finish 19 and 20 and we'll end the session for today. A LAN use a subnet mask of 255, 255, 240. How many different IP addresses can be assigned to the device in the LAN? So to find the number of devices that can be assigned, we need to have host ID bits, right? So the subnet mask is given. So how we are going to take 255 is 8 ones, 255 is another 8 ones, 240 means how many? 4 ones and then 4 zeros. That is the third octet. For the fourth octet, there will be 8 zeros. So our host ID means what? This portion. So that means 8 plus 4. 12 bits are there for the host ID. So to find the number of hosts or number of devices that can be connected to this network, it's 2 to the power 12. From that, we have to minus 2 because we are using the broadcast, the network address and the broadcast address, right? So the 2 to the power 12 means 4096, right? So minus 2 means 4094, right? So when it comes to these kind of things, go through the equations that we talk about in the network lesson. That is why we had those equations, right? In the calculations, equations api hatak hari atak hari liwa. So take those things into a one place. Then make කරගෙන යනකොට ඕගොල්ලෝ ගාව short notes විදිහට තියෙන්න ඕන දේවල් කීපයක් තියෙනවා නිතරම පාවිච්චි වෙන්න ඕන ඒවා. එකක් boolean laws ටික. right? හරියට ලියාගෙන එක sheet එකක තියාගන්න පොඩි කොලයක තියාගන්න short note එකක් bookmark එකක් විදිහට. The other one is this, the equations regarding the IP calculations. Another one is like the equations regarding the memory calculations, right? ඕවා ළඟ තියාගන්න. මොකද ඕවා නිතරම පොත් පෙරලා හොයන්න බෑ, right? Okay, 19th one, is that clear, people? Yes, everyone? Yeah, okay. So the 20th, it is asking which of the following statement is correct with respect to the routing in the internet. There can be at most one router in any given LAN. One router in any given LAN, local area network. That is going to be a problem. If you got any more than one router in any given LAN, it specifies like two type of two points of places to exit the particular LAN, which we are not doing normally, right? We just keep, for the security purposes, we just keep just one gateway out of your LAN, right? So that can be considered as an incorrect one. Let's see, a router can have more than one network interface. Yes, router can have more than one network interface. Let's go through. Routing is a functionality of transport layer. All router functions as HTTP proxies. The internet does not need routing if all applications use TCP. Yeah. So the router can have more than one network interface. Now, specifically when it comes to the device called router, what we can see in our houses, like household, right? We are using that particular router to have many different functionalities, right? එතකොට ඒක ගැන හිතාගෙන route එක ගැන හිතන්න යන්න එපා. ඒක සමහර වෙලාවට deceiving පැත්තට එන්න පුළුවන්, right? Habai, when it comes to the network interface word, the network interface කියලා කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? The network port that you can see, right? So we clearly know one router can have the connections from many LANs. අපි network diagrams අඳිනකොටත් ඕක කතා කරලා තියෙනවා, right? Local area networks කීපයක් අපිට පුළුවන් router එකකට connect කරන්න පැති කීපයකින්. L3 switch has the same functionality, right? So on that argument, second one can be taken as a correct answer, right? So routing is a functionality of the transport layer. Now routing is a layer 3 device, right? We call it an L3 device, right? So when it comes to the 7 layers, how it's going to be: application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link. All people seems to need data processing. All people seems to need data processing, physical, right? So transport means the 4th layer. Router is a layer 3 device, right? මෙතනටම තමයි L3 switch කියන එක නා වැටෙන්නේ. right? Layer 2 device එකක් විදිහට තමයි switch එක වැටෙන්නේ, switch එක අරගන්න. The normal switch. And layer 1 device එකක් විදිහට තමයි අපි hub එක අරගන්නේ. Right? So for that reason, we can't say routing is a functionality of transport layer. It is the functionality of network layer. Right, then all router functions as HTTP proxies. No, not the HTTP proxies. HTTP proxies කියලා අපිට වැඩ කරන්න ඕන වෙන්නේ web එකත් එක්ක communicate වෙනවා නම්. Because hypertext transfer protocol is a web-based protocol. So web-based proxy means web එකට ඇතුළට යනකොට proxy එකක් විදිහට උදව් කරනවා කියන එක. It is not only the HTTP proxies. එක LAN එකක ඉඳලා තව LAN එකකට යනකොට we don't need HTTP, right? So without HTTP we can connect. Hypertext transfer protocol needed to be for the web browsing part, right? So for that reason, all routers thing can be taken as an incorrect one. So this is also incorrect. The internet does not need routing if all applications use TCP. No, it is wrong. Because TCP means transmission control protocol. Transmission control protocol workings with the internet protocol. And that suit, internet protocol and the transmission control protocol is taking care of getting a one particular data from one point and sending it to the receiver carelessly or like totally. That is why we call IP TCP is a reliable protocol. And it does not have to do anything with routing, right? Apita routers නැති වුණා නම් we won't be able to send a particular data to the receiver because the routers in this network is helping to route, right? So when it comes to the internet, it does the same thing, right? So we are connecting from our machine to our home router. Home router will be connecting to the next immediate router in the network. So through their internet service providers routers, it will move to the very end router or like the receiver's router, right? එතකොට මේ routing layer එක තිබ්බේ නැති වුණොත් internet service provider ගේ network එකේ මේ routing layer එක තිබ්බේ නැති වුණොත් sender ගේ router එකේ ඉඳලා මේ router එකෙන් කියලා හිතන්නකො device එකට connect වෙන්නේ receiver ගේ router එකට යන්න පාරක් නැති වෙනවා මේක receiver ගේ device එක, right? So sender receiver. So මේක නැති වුණොත් මේක නැතුව TCP විතරක් පාවිච්චි කරලා යන්න බෑ. TCP වල කියන්නේ මේ routers ඇතුලෙන් යනකොට data packets loss වෙන්නේ නැතුව අරගෙන යන්න ක්‍රමවේදයක්. සහ ඒක loss වෙනවද කියලා check කරන්න ටෙක්නික් එකක්. Transmission control protocol then. Right? But routers is there to do the routing. Right? මෙතන packets ටික හැදුනම මේ packets මොන ඒවාය හරහා ගිහිල්ලාද මේ receiving end එකට එන්නේ කියන එක තීරණය කරන්න. ඒක එක එක පාරවල් වල යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වෙලාවට traffic එක අඩු පාරේ තමන්ගේ routing සිද්ධ කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So for that reason, fifth one cannot be taken as a correct answer. Right? So second one is the correct answer according to this question. Right? Okay, so I'm going to end the session from here, people. So by next week, we are going to talk about the rest of the things in 215 and move into the second part of it. So get prepared with those things. I'll see you on 8:45. Hamom 8:45 වලට එකතු වෙමු, right? We need to have that time අපිට time එක පුළුවන් තරම් හොඳට පාවිච්චි කරන එක හොඳයි, right? Okay, so have a nice weekend, people. I'm going to end the session from here, right? So thank you very much. Right, everyone, thank you very much. Okay, stay safe.